Hey y'all, in this lesson we're going to be exploring some basics of logic and mathematics, and we're going to be starting with statements, quantifiers, and negations. So first off for this lesson, we have some terminology that we're going to need to go over before we get into, or as we get into logic and mathematics. So symbolic logic uses letters for statements and symbols for connectors, which I'll talk about in a second, but basically words like and, or, not, and then if, then. A truth value is basically every statement can be proven true or false. Or sentence, I should say. Every sentence is true or false. And then a statement is a declarative. I don't know if I spelled that right. Might be A right there. Sentence with a truth value, because every sentence has a truth value. So that's kind of redundant, but just go with it. A compound statement is two or more statements joined together with a connective, which I'll talk about below. Joined with a connective. And a connective, I've already talked about a little bit. Logical connectives are those words that connect two statements. So you can have and, or, if then. We're going to determine, sorry about that, there's a little typo, determine if the following statements are compound, and then if they are compound, identify the connective word. So in the first example we have, tomorrow is Friday. There's no and, or, if then, so this is not compound. It's just a statement. And we could say whether it's true or false. So it's a statement, it's just not a compound statement. And then in the second one, it says, if the student makes an A, then the student will celebrate. My connective, my logical connective is if, then. And it's joining two separate statements. So in the first statement is the student makes an A. And then the second statement is the student will celebrate. So if the student makes an A, then the student will celebrate is a compound statement. And the connective is if, then. In the third example, it says, let's get together Friday and Saturday. This does have a connective. It has the word and, but it's not being used as a connective. We're not connecting two separate statements. So my first statement is, let's get together Friday. That is a statement. And then the second one would be Saturday, which, I mean, I guess could be a statement if you're answering a question, but it's not really like a full sentence. So we're going to say not compound. And then the last one here says, my brother got married in Weatherford and it was raining when he got married. So we do have a logical connective. And now we need to decide if that connective is, or if that word is being used as a logical connective for a compound statement. So in the first part, it says, my brother got married in Weatherford. That's a full sentence, and it could be true or false. And then it says, it was raining when he got married. Again, full sentence, and it can be true or false. So this is compound. And it's connected with the word and. I don't have it in these notes, but there are two words that you might come across, and that's the premise and conclusion. And the premise is like the first part of the sentence, and then the conclusion is like the second part of the sentence if there's a compound statement. But moving on. All right, to negate a statement, if you think of the word negate, like negative, then that means to state the opposite. The negation of a true statement is false because those are opposite. And the negation of a false statement is true. So let's form a negation of each statement below. The school has a superintendent. So we're focusing on these. You want to focus less on this word. We don't need to change that word. Like, we don't want to change the, I don't know, nouns. I don't know English, but grammar. I mean, I know English. I don't know grammar. We don't want to change that to principle. We just want to change it to be an opposite statement. So instead of has, the opposite of has is does not have or has not. We won't say has not, but the school does not have a superintendent. I'm going to abbreviate there because that's a long word. Now try the second one. The sun is a planet. Go ahead and negate it, pause it, try it, come back. We would say the sun is not a planet. Again, we don't want to change the word planet. We want to leave those words the same. We just want to change is to is not. That's all that needs to be done there. And then if we're negating inequalities, we have, first, we kind of review inequalities just so that you're familiar with them. In the first one, we have A is less than B. On the second one, we have A is greater than B. And then we have less than or equal to B, and then greater than or equal to B. So just to kind of familiarize you with those symbols. We have lots of symbols in mathematics. To negate those, you, so like for less than, if I have a true statement, let's say 1 is less than 3. That's true. If I were to negate that, I would need to not only flip the inequality, but also use equal. So we have to change two things here. Greater than or equal to. And then greater than becomes less than or equal to. Less than or equal to becomes greater than. And greater than or equal to becomes less than. So if you have some statements that have inequalities and you want to negate those, that's how you would change the symbols. And basically the thinking behind that is for less than, if we were to say not less than, then for something to be not less than, then that means it could be greater than or equal to. So that's kind of why you have to change both. But that's all I have for this lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help. See you in the next one.